let's go again and get into the next match of the day. Another best of 5. This time, again, it's Method versus NRG. With the commentary is Shogun and Fightable Carpet. Take it away, guys.
Blockbuster. Is there really any other word to describe the matchup that we've got coming up next? NRG, the stone wall of North American Rocket League, have been around for so long, have been so consistent over recent times against Method, a team that was so close to making it to last season. And in the 6 months between them, they have just been working every single week. It's so good to see both of these teams here, but only one can win. I'm Shogun, joined by Carpet. You've got to be looking forward to this one.
I mean, if there's any match that I couldn't, I'm actually slightly getting butterflies, which I haven't gotten in a long time passing a game. Both of these teams bring something special and unique to the pitch, which I think is why watching these two regions go against each other is always something so special and unique about that. NRG, just kind of that dynasty team, the North American team that's been around the longest, one of the only 2 full rosters to make it back here to LAN, but Method. Shogun, we were talking about it before. Let's talk a little bit about what Method brings to the pitch that no one else does.
Well, Method have just got such a different style to everyone else. You heard the desk talk about it, having a lot in that midfield. They always play like a 2-1, so rather than what we usually see out of mostly North American teams where you've got 2 offensive players and 1 defensive player, it's the switch for this one. They use that duo of Metsnaris and Magnus, put them back and just say, a lot, do what you want to do.
And just the experience that's been giving him up on the front of the field, letting him take all these ridiculous shots. I think he has, hands down, one of the best, if not the best shot I've ever seen in the RLCS, but on the other side, NRG. I mean, you heard it, Garrett got the Sizz stamp of approval, whatever that means, I guess. But either way, we know that they've got the talent and the skill as well, so this should be seriously a battle of the Titans.
Got Sizz's stamp of approval, everyone approves of this matchup. It is going to be NRG versus Method, and we're going to get into it for game number 1 as Magnus takes the early shot. You already see a lot holding that area downfield. He has scored great goal after great goal. That is not actually a good touch. Garrett G with a shot of his own, but a lot does cover the defensive ground. Early pressure from NRG. They need to make it stick though. Metsnaris tries to get that first bit. Will be Jacob passing it into Firebunner, who is in the corner. Pass wasn't great, but still managed to find a lot playing the shot rather than the ball. NRG though starting off well here, but there's the long clear. Garrett plays up high, Metsnaris should be to that first. It just seems like both these teams are wanting to feel each other out at this point in time, not going for passive plays. Just want to see if anyone wants to make a mistake and offer up that opening goal.
Definitely feels that NRG have done their research. Notice they're not letting a lot do what he loves to do, which is hover at that midfield and in their half. They just, right out of the gate, started putting on the shots to force him to be that 3rd man on defense, or they just concede an easy goal.
Jacob is there first. Magnus looks to go for a long clear. Trying to get up the wall, but there is no one there for him to pass to. As you mentioned, a lot unable to find that area. Good flick from Garrett. Metsnaris gives her in time, and not only that, but gets enough power off the crossbar to get it away. Firebunner back to Jacob, but Magnus right in the way, gets the block. We are still tied 0-0. But this game so far has been all NRG.
It is a landslide right now. NRG 5 shots in a minute and a half. Method not a single one. They have had 0 control. That is the closest it's gone to net, and that wasn't even anywhere near a threat.
And this is massive for NRG right now. They've managed to keep the new land boys under control for the time being. Method so strong when they get going, but unfortunately for them, they haven't been allowed to even get going.
Thankfully for Method, they definitely never roll over. No matter what happens, no matter how many games they're losing by, they will always fight to the bitter end.
Magnus looking for the corner. Firebunner does read it well, but Magnus does get it over the top, and there is the shadow. Jacob comes in. He's going to be safe for the time being. We are still all tied up. 2 minutes now played. No real opportunities though so far. Most of them covered by a solid defender. More shots from Method, but they're just testing, really, seeing if a mistake can be made on the clear. Jacob flicks up. Magnus has a think about it. Metsnaris though calls him off. Says that he wants to go for it instead. His first goal, as elusive as it has been, is becoming more and more valuable the longer we wait.
Watch how NRG plays defense, very quick and short, knowing there's going to be a slightly larger gap between a lot who's cherry picking up and his 2 teammates, Mets and Magnus. They won't be there quick enough to follow up a lot of the contests, so NRG is playing as quickly as they can in their own half.
NRG feel like they need to take advantage of the pressure they've had though. There's going to be the flicker over the top. Metsnaris has him covered. Jacob though, redirect. also not on target. NRG have had this entire game in their hands, but you have to convert it. Garrett just gets himself blocked. Firebird, he's got time. Not a great touch, and a lot, you see he leaves it. He's got Magnus aiming for it. Two players committed. This is going to allow Method to start moving forward, but no one for a very long time. Method are showing some of those jitters.
Yeah, that would have been their time to push up. Once it had been a couple seconds, at that point, don't bother. Don't try and make something that isn't there. Once NRG was able to retreat and reset themselves on defense, you've lost that opportunity that you'd made.
First real opportunity for Method to push the envelope, control the midfield. A lot. He has control. He's got Magnus to aim for, but Garrett reads it ever so well. And now Jacob on the counter-attack off the backboard. There's going to be a lot waiting there. We already know what he can do off the backboard. Good to see that he's also capable of controlling it defensively. Metznaris is flicking it on. A lot is in the midfield. Takes the shot. Garrett with the save, but it is still dangerous. Metznaris will move himself in. Gets the flick down, and another save from Jacob. It is still dangerous, but Method do not want to overcommit. They have got back.
Smart on them. They put enough pressure on to really make NRG think next time to drop back on defense, because both of those shots were spot on.
Both these teams are playing so smart right now. No major mistakes made, but that could be one. A lot has to try and scramble himself back in time. He's going to leave himself with less boost than he would originally wanted. And Fireburner with the steal over in the corner. Bumps happening in the goal line as well, but Magnus rotates a little bit late, and a lot coming in with the save. You have to say for Method, they've done a very good job of not necessarily being first of the ball, but they are covering each other.
They're trying to cover the angles just so that NRG, every time they clear through, they have to put it over a defender. Notice, Fireburner had to put that so high above net, but no one was following up enough to be able to turn it in.
13 seconds remaining. Still nothing to separate these two teams. We could be going into overtime, but Garrett might have something to say about that. Almost gets there. He couldn't read it. It almost looked like he was trying to play for the block, but never came in. And as soon as it touches ground, it could be over. It is over! Fireburner will say no more!
9 shots, one of them finally goes in. NRG in a 0-second goal. Jacob, an absolutely phenomenal touch down to Fireburner. Poised and ready for that shot. 0 seconds left, leaving Method to only 4 shots that entire game. They will take it, barely keeping themselves from going into overtime.
Wow. That was
That's all you got.
an incredible opening game. I feel like we learned so much, though, just from that. You can see Method not happy with their performances. They seem so relaxed coming onto the stage, but this is something entirely new. You can play the G-Finities you want, you can go to the Dream Hacks you want. Nothing compares to staring out and seeing this crowd and saying, we are at the World Championships.
I mean, Karma said it. I think right now the experience for NRG and then not having the pressure of being the top seed is got to be huge for them.
When we'll ignore the palm into the fist, that was...
Hey man, sometimes you just do what you gotta do. All right, it happens.
Absolutely.
But Method, yeah, you're right. They came on and they looked comfortable, but they have to feel themselves, right? They're not playing their game right now. This is not the Method that we've seen all league play, and I'm not surprised. Their first game here, I'd expect them to be a little bit rusty, but a single goal in the 0-second margin, that's the best you can do to keep an NRG, right? Keeping them to a single goal at least gives you that confidence of, hey, we weren't playing our best and we still pretty much tied them and brought it to overtime. So going to the next game, hopefully they can just get the jitters out, realize like, yeah, you're on stage, but forget everybody else, just play your game.
So game one was an absolutely incredible experience, but for Method, the goal is very simple, and it is to get a goal. They need to get themselves on the scoreboard just to settle into this series. But if you're NRG, repeat what you did in game one. Do not even allow Method to play their style.
And you can tell, I rarely saw a lot being able to hover in NRG's half, which is what he does.
Already see a straight the kickoff. Jacob doing what he did last season as well, intentionally losing the kickoff, giving his team possession of the ball. But it hasn't lasted for all that long. Method want to try and keep this ball out of their half. They know exactly what went wrong last game. It's a little bit obvious for them. Just don't play that much defense. A lot's going to slip us in the corner. Metznaris wanted to steal the first goal. Not quite there. Fireburner. Good, powerful touch. Forces a poor touch from a lot. The setup. Here comes Fireburner. There is Magnus. And what a save it was.
A difficult read and a difficult shot, but both players able to do so, and watch how Method turns it back around. A lot already finds himself in NRG's half, ready for a pass from a teammate.
Midfield gameplay. There isn't going to be any midfield gameplay if these two teams have their way. So fast on the breakaway. Only a minute into this match. I'm still shocked that we only had 1 goal in that previous match. Here comes Magnus, takes the shot. Fireburner should be able to deal with that very well. Play from Garrett as well. Didn't rotate into the net, but instead played the pass that was going to come towards him. Gets it over the top of Norris. A lot force for a challenge. Magnus has been brave here. He's managed to be beat to the ball. A lot has also missed. It's an open net. Here comes Garrett. But he just took too much time. I don't think even he expected Method to be making those mistakes.
Yeah, that demolition on Jacob kind of choked everybody up, even Method. No one expected the whiff, so Garrett was unable to get there in time.
Bounce off the backboard. Jacob looking for the setup, but Fireburner is on the same side. So he's going to be unable to rotate into that, but NRG not committing to things that they know that they cannot win. It's a very disciplined start of game from them so far. Garrett's going to leave it. He wanted to go for boost, suddenly realized it wasn't there. Gets himself to the ball instead.
Oh
Magnus takes the shot. It's going to be too late though. Method still looking for the major offensive opportunity.
You can see they're needing to get creative against NRG. You'll see Garrett and Fireburner back there on defense. Garrett, so useful. Every single one of his touches has some kind of utility, which is what makes him such a strong player.
Jacob will be beat to the ball. He's now in the midfield. Only one player back, and he is against a lot, but Fireburner making a lock jump means that the shot is so much less offensively difficult.
And it cuts off his options.
Absolutely, but NRG are allowing Method to put forward their offensive pressure. Norris takes his time with the second touch after being rammed into. Magnus with the shot. Magnus with the goal.
This is accuracy. There's really nothing else to say about this. Metz knew he had to contest this with Jacob, just trying to body it as much as he can. Magnus saw his chance. Garrett grounded all four wheels on the ground of that goal. He puts it right under the crossbar as fast as he can. That is much more difficult than it looks.
First time Method have really had full of waves of offense, and they have made it stick. They have taken their first goal. It took them 7.5 minutes to get it, but they will be happy to be on the board. Gonna be another long shot from Norris. Just wants to keep the pressure. Fireburner, he's been held back a lot so far this series. Playing that defensive role, not allowing long shots to happen from Method, which I do believe is a very smart idea when you know a team has got a holding midfield man. Very good to hold everyone back. It's the exact same thing that PSG did earlier on against Pale Horse. And we saw how well that works out. Norris takes the shot. Fireburner is there in time. But Method, this game is looking like it's all them. Magnus tries to go for the double tap, but Garrett does read it.
The stats completely flipped. Method with 8 shots, NRG with only 2. It seems like since from last game to this game, Method have really found their comfort, and NRG were just not prepared.
Fireburner passes it straight back to Jacob. Good flick from him. A lot has been taken out of position, but Magnus is instantly up there. Doesn't allow for anything to happen for NRG, and they are now waiting for their first major opportunity of the match, and it's been 1 minute and 30 left in this match.
Shogun, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels that Method have just kind of forgotten about defense. What's the point? They're just pushing it onto offense as hard as they can, kind of doing what NRG did to them last game, just not letting them play where their comfort is.
Oh, the great passing infield play. Not quite able to make a shot. Using the backboard. I doubt that will work against any European teams this weekend. We sort of saw most of these European teams have had great practice against backboard plays. I mean, that's the big reason why Envy just had such a poor season for themselves, because it just doesn't work anymore. But yeah, I have to agree with you. It just seems like Method said, okay, you know what we used to be really good at? Speed. You know what we can probably do here? Speed.
Yeah. They don't need to play defense if they're constantly in NRG's half. Every time you see a clear, NRG really doesn't have, this is probably one of the first times you've seen them have someone to pass to. Oh, all 3 up. Jacob!
That was so incredibly executed off what was effectively just being a shot out of nowhere. Metzenauer managed to get the move to happen early. There's going to be a save from a lot, almost pre-jumping that one. And there's another long clear. Method just need to hold on for 25 more seconds, and they will tie us up at 1 game apiece. Can they do it? Magnus, half flips. Seems like they're allowing NRG to move forward. Will they be made to pay? There's going to be the pass across. Everyone is over in that corner though for NRG. There's going to be no options to pass. Instead, they have to try and force it through. But the options simply were not there. And now, Method just have to close this match out. They've got the offensive pressure. They just have to get the ball to hit the floor. Norris tries to get there. He pounds that one straight down. And we are all tied up.
8 shots for Method. They really woke up after that first game. And when you talk about the pressure of playing at the RLCS land for the first time, the fact that they can lose that first game after in the 0-second margin when you thought they could have brought it to overtime, they were still able to overcome that and push on through and really have a dominant game here against NRG. While it may have been 1-0, they had all of the offensive pressure.
See both of these teams very somber right now. They know the challenge that's ahead of them.
Oh yeah.
You want to have yourself a big match to start off your LAN experience. This is the big match to start off your LAN experience. But right now, I really want to actually focus on what we're seeing on our screens. Method have become, and me and you have both seen it all weekend, so much more comfortable around each other, in front of the camera. It just seems like they've not only grown across this season as players and made themselves better, but they've grown as people across the entire season. They just seem like they're almost a year or two older at this point in 6 months.
And they're one of the only other teams that we can give a lot of credit to for sticking together as a full roster, just like NRG has. NRG's been together for quite some time now. This roster, it's a big thing. It kind of lends a good hand to them because they're able to really work off of each other. They don't have to think because they just know how each other plays. They slowly had to adapt. Speaking with Garrett, I think they had to. I know when he first came out, he had to learn, what Jacob was doing.
Yes.
Because that's something that you have to figure out. They probably had to make a book about it.
I would not want to be on a team with Jacob. He is just a little bit too crazy for everyone, but you have to think right now that crazy is what NRG needs. They have to take this game, and once again, we see immediately off the kickoff, NRG are intentionally losing it to take control of the ball. So let's see who can put themselves on series point. Magnus getting it off the corner. Jacob has that dealt with, and he has it dealt with so well. So much power means that the touch on the holding midfielder quite as powerful as they originally wanted to be. Jacob still holding himself around. Both games so far decided by one single goal. And we've been seeing that a lot more in the most recent lands where the close together teams are only winning by 1 goal. Magnus plays over the top. Is there anyone back? Yes, there is. And his name is Jacob. Also playing it across, but still Magnus there in time. Method for the first offensive opportunity, but Metsnaris is holding himself so far back. Has to give himself some boost. Taking his time with the shot, but Metsnaris has it read.
How fast a lot turns that back around to put his team in control and to relieve the pressure from his 2 defenders.
Magnus looking for midfield. Jacob is in the midfield, so he will happily take that away. Passing plays have not been seen yet by Method. It just seems like they're more relying on individual brilliance and speed, and to be fair, it has worked so far. There's some individual brilliance. Unfortunately, there was not the individual goal that would have put them 1 goal up in this game. Just over a minute played, and it's been a lot more like game 1. It just seems like they're back to feeling each other out.
I mean, the moment you get too quick and you kind of lose control is the moment the other team takes advantage and just builds that momentum against you, takes all the boost they can for the next 30 seconds until they put it in. The moment you let anything up.
Fire has managed to set it up well, but that bounce straight down from the arc at the top of the ceiling. Actually made the pass worse. Dropped straight down to holding defenders on the goal line. Metsnaris couldn't quite get to scramble the ball the first time round, so he's going to leave it for a lot. Let me get it over to Fireburner. Opportunity for NRG to start to constrict. Just couldn't control the booster. That was just out of time for them. So we go down to the other end of the pitch. Magnus with the setup. Here comes Metsnaris. Wasn't even going to go for net for that. You can actually see him aiming for a lot. Now down to the other end of the pitch. Fireburner has got Jacob. Jacob looks for Fireburner again. Great team play, and it's going to go in.
This is the most heads-up play I think I have ever seen. Both realizing what they have to deal with. A lot Magnus coming across. Instead of taking the shot, Jacob knew he was too far. It was too weak, so he drops it right back to Fireburner, who puts it over the final defender who was stuck on that line. Incredible play from NRG.
NRG showing off that LAN experience and showing off how well they work as a team. It was going to be so easy to be very selfish with that initial pass for Jacob, but instead he gave it right back to his teammate, and that is going to be a difference maker right now, but still over half the game left to play. Metsnaris does leave it. It's going to open up the keys and the game for Garrett. Jacob, that's not the touch he wanted. It's going to go to Fireburner. Got in time, but a lot just plows straight into him. It doesn't even seem like there's any guesswork right now for Method on their defense. They just run towards where the ball is and say, all right, I'm going to block. But there's no blocking. It's there. Metsnaris gets there in time, hits him in the bottom, and he's going to be used yet again. Double save there from Metsnaris. Prevents the double goal lead.
Turning back around, Fireburner again, buying his team time to get more boost to keep up this attack. Right now, Method a lot has finally found himself in a good place, puts it down. Garrett might be there, but is it good enough? Yes, just barely. Fireburner will help seal that clear out.
The shot just needed to be that little bit more powerful, and we would have been all tied up. A lot can't get there. Jacob also cannot get there. A minute and 40 left to play. Garrett off that sidewall. A lot to get there in time. Save wasn't very convincing either. You see a lot just making sure that you got that boost. They do not want to be trapped in their own half, especially with time running away. Fireburner! Almost put it in. The shot accuracy right now, whichever team can figure that out and start getting the shots to hit the upper 90 will be the team to take this series.
Something we've uncharacteristically seen from NRG throughout this season is they really weren't putting up the shots that we've seen them do, and I think it's also the competition's getting that much tighter. They can't really rely on such large nets to just be open for them, so they're having to work a little bit harder for those shots.
Method are in trouble right now. There's been no boost either side. Whenever they've tried to go and collect it, it's going to allow NRG the opportunity, but Jacob putting himself so far back, not being able to get to that pass. You can see how long it's taking Method to put themselves back into a good offensive position. Oh my goodness! NRG, the rotation just collapsed.
This cannot feel good. Jacob down to Garrett, which I actually really like, but look at Magnus and Alok both poised and ready for that right onto the side. Fireburner getting a bit confused as to who was up there and who had control of the ball. Opted to potentially grab some boots. He must not have had much left. And now a tied game. This is the closest we've seen. The shots almost back and forth. Only 2 more shots for Method. This is the closest we've seen them play.
This is the first time we've had 2 goals in the game so far.
That is true.
That has been how close these teams have been. Fireburner would like to be the difference maker. He's managed to get it bouncing off, but a lot with the bicycle kick. We'll clear it away. Lead to Magnus. Seems like the communication has been sorted out for Method. Garrett will be taking on Mercenaris. There's the shadow. Here comes a lot. Still able to get anything. Oh, there's a miss from Magnus. Fireburner has got Garrett, but the pass is not great.
Yeah.
Fireburner has not quite able to get a smash on Mercenaris. There was ideas for a play there from NRG, but the execution not quite there.
And I think that comes from a lot of respect, knowing Mercenaris on defense. He could have easily turned around and saved that, and NRG wasn't fully aware exactly the distance between them.
Jacob! Oh, just couldn't quite get contact. The last throw of the dice did go to NRG, but Magnus is there. The ball must touch the floor. Alok gets on the backboard. There is a miss from Garrett. Here comes Mercenaris, but he is beat to it by Jacob. I would not be surprised, and I am not surprised that Method decides to say, all right, you know what? We had a shot. Let's go to overtime.
Every single game has been with either 1 or 0 goals. The first overtime, getting cheated out of that first one in game number 1. We will see it in game number 3.
Alok is now up. He wants to get off the backboard. He has got it off the backboard. Who will be the follow-up? Is Mercenaris. It's not a probing touch. It's just to try and waste some boost out. Jacob wasn't able to do too much with it, but the passing plays from Garrett and Fireburner will save him, and he's going to have an opportunity to just reset himself. That's going to be a block from Magnus, but Jacob can easily clear that. A lot allows to go backboard. The communication yet again. There are no double commits happening from Method. One player might go towards it, but they are immediately being pulled off.
Gonna relieve a little bit of pressure. Remember, they only need 2 for an attack. A lot pushing that back to Magnus.
That's going to be the touch straight down. Garrett and Fireburner are there. NRG's defense has been well-rounded to try and deal with Method's plan of offense. They're leading 2 back a lot, but they've also committed 2 to that one. Method probing away. There's going to be a double commit in the corner. Going to allow NRG to break away down to the upper end of the pitch, but the touch was just a little bit too heavy. This meant that there was no real option. You have to really, especially in a game between these 2 teams, really plan out what you want to do offensively, because you're not going to see a huge defensive mistake. That's into the corner. Jacob gets off the backboard. You can already see Garrett going back. He does not want to try and commit to that.
There was a missed attempt on a demolition for net as well, so I think once Garrett saw that that wasn't able to do much for him, he knew he needed to drop back to help relieve some pressure.
Garrett's really been playing a lot more defensive than the previous few games. Seems like he's taken it upon himself to ensure no mistakes happen, and he will come in and clear up that one in particular. Jacob tried to get there, but once again, Method using their style of defense. Not going for saves, but instead ensuring that the ball barely even comes off your bumper before it's in.
They're reading angles so well. They know these passing plays because they do it themselves, so they're able to read what NRG has planned, has in store for them. They're able to find the angles, especially a lot. For an offensive player, he's playing phenomenal defense.
Definitely been pulled back, but he is playing very well. Here's the shot from Fireburner. There's no one there, but he just doesn't make any contact. Method, they need to get the ball away. I have no idea how much boost they have. But Mercenaris, he doesn't need any boost if he plans on faking it. But NRG, once again, the same way as they played in game number 1, the same game that they won, and had the vast majority of offensive pressure ever since we got tied back up. Jacob. Another long ball. Method, they've just got to be desperate at this point. Let the ball get out of their half. They're going to use Magnus, but once again, Fireburner is there. Mercenaris did put himself at the goal line as well. Almost made to Motos regrets it. Metznaris not as disciplined as he needed to be, almost got caught.
It is so tough right now. Every hard clear is getting stuffed out by NRG, but every time they try and take it slow, they get contested and lose their 50-50s because they still haven't, as a team, been able to fully get boost until just recently.
Garrett in the corner, but a lot will be first. He does miss the ball. Magnus can take control. A lot's going for the Domo in the goal as well. But once again, communication is key. There's a save from Garrett. Out of nowhere, the shot comes towards him, but he reacts just in time.
But this is where Method keep up the pressure, leaving 2 in net for NRG. They might have a hard clear, but a lot is going to try and find his teammates, and as always, they work together.
Double commit as well, though. That's going to allow Metznaris, who has actually taken the shot. He's going to get it. No, he's not. It's just to the side. One goal is all it will take for one of these teams to go to series point. And it just seems like it's impossible right now, as no one quite able to get it. Magnus almost gets caught out, being a little bit too far forward. And with every single second that passes, not only does it mean that you take this win, you get the series, or at least put it on a series score-winning match, but at the same time, every single second that goes by, you're wasting more and more mental energy. And if you take that loss, it can really hurt.
You said it yourself, though. Accuracy right now plaguing Method. That last shot, Metznaris had it, but just a little too difficult and a little too wide. He wasn't able to sink it in.
A lot has been doing his role ever so well right now, but there's been no decent follow-up. He has been getting passes to him. He is setting it up well, but there is no finish. A lot in the corner. He's also picked up boost. That came up at the absolute perfect time for him. Method have got time, but once again, 2 players very close together. They are not spread out as much as they need to be. NRG looking like the more composed team. Garrett tries to get a pass, a shot. I'm not too sure what that was. I don't think even he did. We're going to head up to 5 minutes of overtime.
I love the way NRG has been retreating, always making sure that they're still a viable option, still pegging at each other to make sure that a Method defender wastes his time coming out for a clear, and hopefully won't get there before the NRG retreater, I suppose, can get there.
Was a demo on the goal, but no shot means that it won't be too difficult. 5 minutes now complete, and it has not exactly been boring. Both teams are trying their hardest to find a way through. Firebunner does get the block. Here is the follow-up from Gary. He's tapping straight down. There is a demo as well, but Metznaris gets there just in time. Everyone is not in the goal. There's the shot, but a lot out of nowhere is the literal savior of Method's game.
Talk about last-second saves. A lot just making it there in time. The striker from NRG completely unaware that he'd make it and just took the shot when he could.
What's it gonna take at this point? These 2 teams are so close. As Fireburner, gonna put that one up high. Metznaris does get caught out. Magnus turns it. It's an own goal. NRG are 2 games up.
Fireburner hits it into that beautiful sweet spot that drops it straight in front of net, and no one is aware. No one on Method is prepared. Magnus finds himself on the wrong side of that line. In net, he pushes it in himself, and after nearly 6 minutes, NRG take game 3.
So I know I said it last time, but wow. Once again, that was just absolutely insane. The save, every single player really stepping up, but actually having those longer games. We almost played 10 minutes of Rocket League there. Shows us exactly what these 2 teams are doing. Fireburner is much further down the field than usual. He's definitely been the link-up player, and a lot, even in games as close as this. He only got 1 save, but my goodness, what a save that was.
I mean, I think a lot of this really, it seems that both teams are respecting each other immensely, which is why there's so much hit and retreat, almost like, you know, guerrilla tactics, where they're just take a couple of shots, then just drop back, because I do not want to deal with whatever counterattack NRG has to deal with, or I don't want to deal with whatever Method's about to throw my way, or, oh no, I've lost track of a lot. I bet you he's in our net doing some weird stuff. So a lot of respect coming from both of them, but you're right, a lot is retreating back when he needs to, and that's that last second defense that everyone looks at Method and says, how? How do you do it such last second all the time? And it's effective. It's as effective as it gets. You're not wasting any time. You're there exactly when you need to be, and then you're able to turn it back to your opponent's half.
The difference between these 2 teams right now is very, very simple. It is control. NRG are having the possession of the ball. They've created the better chances for themselves, and they're reaping the rewards for it. Method, as good as they have been playing, this is still not their style. They have been held to play NRG style instead, and guess what? That is favoring NRG. Now, match point for NRG. They can put North America 2 series to 1 up against Europe. that. I don't think we've ever said, but this has really been North America's defining year, the one that they have grown the most. They need to try and get the win. There's going to be a shot coming off. Once again, shot accuracy. Not quite there for either team. Garrett with a flick. Once again, a lot is there. We're going to have to try and pass to one another. These individual plays will not work. But once again, I see them together. Trying to go for the same ball, they have to spread out more.
They want to shadow each other, but sometimes they're a bit too close. And I think a lot of that is, as you said, Shogun, their uncomfort of not being able to play their game. They've yet to find their own style and feel like that they're playing where they can just leave a lot up and let Mets and Mog play defense. In reality, they're having to just react to NRG and hopefully get some counterattacks in.
In situations like this, it's definitely not the fastest paced Rocket League we've ever seen. And I feel like that's actually catching Method out. They've had more time to think about their situation. They've had more time to evaluate. And it means that you're actually more likely to make mistakes. As Magnus, one touch, looks for a second. As I said, he's gonna get the third. He didn't want it, takes it away from his teammates. Just that close.
I mean, in what world would he expect a lot to be that close to him? But in reality, it's a lot that we're talking about, so he probably will always be there for those shots. I mean, that is a difficult situation. He thought he had one more down, but that's the creativity. That is what they love to do. Try and beat out that person in midfield, get those midfield passes, and try and push it through for a nice quick shot.
Magnus is going to be there first. Jacob is all the way back, actually choosing to leave the boost. Magnus will steal that away. He tries to create some difficulties. A lot gets out of the way from Metsnaris. He's 3D on the half flip. Now, counter-attack is now in, but a lot has taken control of the ball, puts it up high and into an area that NRG won't even consider trying to attack Metsnaris. Double tap! Gonna put his team up 1-0, and that is a crucial goal.
They tried it once, but I guess second time's a charm for them. Metsnaris is able to follow this one through perfectly into the corner. No one will get there in time unless they were either on the backboard or intercepted in the air. He knew he had the space. He just patiently waited for that bounce off the backboard and will put them in the lead in game number 4. From
defense to goal, 3 touches, it never touched the floor, and NRG just rattled by that gold explosion. Follow up from Metsnaris. NRG need to shut this down quick, and it looks like they're going to try and do so. Jacob off the corner gets himself a second touch. Garrett's going to come in, but he will be beaten the ball by a lot. That's the block. Magnus, he's got an open goal to aim at, and that's going to be 2 goals to 0.
I thought a lot was actually going to manage to steal this while falling down in front of him, but this, finally, they just beat Fireburner 50-50. You don't see that very often, and Jacob couldn't retreat in time. Garrett found himself up too far. At that point, I think NRG, they're really starting to feel the pressure. They've got 6 shots on net, but they have yet to be able to turn any of them in. They were down by a single goal. They really wanted to push up. They thought they had an opportunity, but Method just took it right back.
Still plenty of time left in this matchup for NRG to find a solution. Garrett, will he be that solution? He almost was, but another magnificent save out from Method will hold them away. 2 minutes left to play. NRG seem like they're pretty boosted up. Garrett will be beaten to that ball, but the post comes in to be their savior. Now NRG's going to go to the other end of the pitch for Fireburner. He doesn't have much boost. He's almost there as a token to try and make sure Method move the ball around and actually get them to move. Metsnaris taps it down. There's not being a chance there for a double tap as much as he
wanted it. Oh, he wanted it so bad.
They all want it at this point in time. Every single player that you see on that stage, all 6 of them want to be the star. They want to be the player that says, I was the difference maker. So Metsnaris, once again, off that backboard, is there. Garrett, the tap down. All 3 members are there. Metsnaris going to go for a less direct route. As a lot takes the shot. It's the first time that they've really managed to get a shot out of a lot. Not quite on target though, but still 2 goals to the better. Method are leading.
Right now, 9 shots to only 7 for Method, so NRG is actually leading in shots right now, but down by 2 goals, they just can't seem to find it. Some incredible saves by Method. Everyone, you know, those last second saves, they're just doing it even more again this time. They're really solidifying the fact that they just wait until the very last moment.
As someone that's played against Method, I can tell you that those last second saves are soul destroying. You feel like you've made it, you feel like you've finally scored. They have always had it under control.
And they're ready for it too. They're ready for their own last second save. Someone's somehow at midfield just expecting their own teammate to make some ridiculous save.
Magnus controls up the wall. Time is ticking away. NRG need to get themselves a goal. They need to get it quick, but every single time, Method are not relenting. They are constricting NRG as much as possible. A lot needs to control. Does end up pushing that one out to Fireburner. Now Fireburner over to Jacob. Jacob into the net. 22 seconds remaining, and it is only one goal.
Look at this touch from Fireburner. Beautifully straight out to midfield, keeping it away from Magnus, who is forced to pre-jump knowing it's Jacob coming at that strike. Unbelievably played by NRG, and with 22 seconds left, it's more than possible.
Once again for NRG, the pressure is on, and they play it disciplined. They trust one another, they get the passes going, and they've given themselves a light in this matchup. They want to find themselves a way back in. Fireburner off the backboard. Jacob, he might take this. He's managed to set up for Garrett. Garrett is going to sky it, and Metzenaris, he wants to try and take something. How much boost does he have? Not enough. Metzenaris and the rest of the team going to have to try and deal with this, but a long play from a lot. Jacob flicks it up high. Fireburner, he's got Jacob to aim for. He does aim for him. Jacob, the ball up high. They will take this as far as they can. Jacob can't get there. Findable carpet. We have ourselves a real match.
Game number 5 from these two teams. I am not surprised at all, and a single goal separates every single game. These two teams have the utmost respect for each other and skill that matches. It's so great to watch these two playstyles clash with each other, both trying to find ways to bring it out, and it's always in small spurts. You see NRG with one of the best passing plays I've ever seen. The two players just going back and forth to give and go. I think it was in game number 2 that we saw, and even just there at the end, almost being able to turn in yet another 0-second goal to tie it up. Unbelievably played from NRG, but Method are making sure that that's very short. Every time NRG is going to do that, it's going to be once, twice, maybe 3 times a game. But same on the other side. NRG is trying to keep Method as hard as they can from being able to just cheat in their half and letting a lot just do what a lot does, which is anything he wants.
2 goals to 1. Method are going to send us into game number 5, and it's going to be so interesting to see here. The RLCS newbies, Method Gaming, so close to making land last season, could take down one of the favorites of NRG. But on the other hand, NRG, so experienced. You know that they've been in this position so many times before. They know how to win from here. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are as excited as I am. It is game number 5 between Method and NRG. Let's do this. 5 minutes is all it will take between a semi-final spot or heading down to the lower brackets. The opening minute of this game is going to be so crucial as well. It's so crucial, in fact, that we had some players leave. Guys, I worked really hard to type this up.
Yep.
They
don't care.
There we are. Great goal there from Garrett.
They don't care about the
So we're going to actually have an opportunity now to really break this game down just a little bit more, though. I really feel he does need it. Because you did hear the desk talk about this earlier on. The fact that Method have been in these high-pressure situations, and they never quite have the result. Remember, they qualified for this season through automatic. They were the top 2. They've never really had to look at a game and go, we have to win, and actually won it. This is their first big challenge that they might be able to succeed in.
Well, the last time we saw them do that was in Season 3, and guess what? They actually weren't able to succeed. They lost that overtime game against Flipside Tactics, and Flipside took that spot from them at LAN, and they were at Season 3, Method falling just short. But a huge credit to them for sticking together as a roster. No one changed, no one left, they didn't get upset with each other. They grinded it out, and you've seen it. Shogun, you've seen them perform a little bit more with all the other casts that are going over in Europe. And just talk to me about how have they been feeling as a team, and what makes them try so hard?
Method, they had the best response possible to that loss against Flipside. They looked at it and just went, all right, did you think the Elite Series is coming up? They've been playing on LAN environments, they've been getting together in person, even going to the Method Gaming House to try and train with one another. There is no team out there for me that really works this hard. But this is the biggest stage possible. We see that NRG has got more LAN experience, and this actually plays a huge part in it now that we've had this pause, because we look behind us, these guys have got to be talking to one another. They need to be mentally ready for this matchup. I feel like NRG is actually having an advantage coming out of this, just having those in-game leaders, having people that have done this before. But Method, I'm really curious to see how this works for them, because they've got an opportunity to prove something that they've never proved before.
When you look at the side of NRG, I mean, these players, they've shown that they can do it, so no one doubts them at all. Magnus with an early shot, but it's pretty wide.
Let's get ourselves into this yet again. All the adrenaline pumping, it can be a little bit awkward to have to try and take a pause. We're going to see who can respond to it the best. Magnus with the safe Fireburner wants to take advantage as quickly as possible, but a lot shuts the door down to the other end of the pitch. 30 seconds now played. Both of these teams really curious. Mesnaris, lovely one-two play between him and a lot. Catching out NRG just a split second. We're now going to see the other pitch. Fireburner playing for the block. Still going to be stuck in the midfield for the time being. There's actually very little boost across the pitch for everyone. Looking like they were just a little bit low. Fireburner wanting to get the pass from Garrett. Just stuck himself grounded himself for just a little bit too long. Can't afford to be doing that against either of these teams. So fast-paced, there's the shot, but it just drifts wide. Two players commit to Method, but there was no angle there to take the shot and get it in.
NRG always planning 3 steps ahead. Jacob out to Garrett and then right back to him, going for that shot. Really messed with the Method defense. Granted, it didn't put itself on target, but pulling these ideas out so early on is going to be huge for them if they can keep it up.
NRG seems to be the team with more ideas right now. NRG are just forcing Method to soak up the pressure at this point in time, but not be surprised if you do see the European team just start to grow into it. They know what is at stake. There's a lot. Long clear from him. There is no one to aim for except himself, and he has got the shot. He has got the goal. NRG will be left to wonder where the defense was.
This cannot feel good. You saw it getting contested here by Jacob, but too far from the corner. And he was actually way further. At first, I thought it could potentially have pinched that Jacob was close. But when I got a closer look, Jacob was actually about 1.5 cars away from even being able to touch that. So where was the miscommunication there? Why was no one in net? Where was Jacob coming from the corner? But they can't dwell on it for too long because they need to get a goal.
Absolutely. The good news for NRG is they've got so much time to try and right this. The bad news is that they are down in the first place. They have to try and dig deep into that veteran instinct. Garrett, not expecting the whiff. He's going to try and take the shot. Does get a block instead. Fireburner is not able to get there in time. Once again, the shadowing out from Method means that they can try and defend themselves off the crossbar. Yet again, no follow-up from a lot. Instead, he's going to try and take himself back. Finds himself too far forward, and he's got to know that Method at this point in time with that lead will not want to commit to anything that could leave danger. Pretty poor touch. Magnus has to come in for the save. He's been powered straight to Jacob, who couldn't control Fireburner and wants to go try and take the ball all the way down the pitch by himself. Unable to do so. Magnus tries to put up Fireburner. Jacob, he's read that so well. Blocked. Tries to get there.
What control Jacob just had, backwards landing underneath that ball, still able to trap it with his car.
NRG being a much more physical team at this point in time. But they also look slightly disorganized. They need to try and keep themselves calm. Magnus, he can turn this in. He can't make contact. Yet again, Method that close to being 2 goals up. They need that cushion. 1 goal is not safe.
Can't feel too much pressure now when you're this much in the lead. It might be 1 goal, but that's the biggest we've seen this entire series. So as far as they're concerned, this could be it.
Mesnaris can't get there in time. He will, however, wait. NRG are not pressuring. Instead, they're going to try and hold the midfield, see if they can cause a mistake. Jacob is being annoying to a lot. Locked him car to car for the time as a lot can pick up the boost. They're going to allow the passing play. Fireburner wanted to pass. There was no one there, though, for the time being. As they're slowly grinding away NRG, and they're doing this very well. No shots on target because they know that could result in a long clear off the save, but Method just took their time. They rode out the wave of pressure. NRG, as good as their setup was, there was no real opportunities for them.
I want to make a comment on something you said, Shogun. Waiting for that opportunity. If you take a shot on net, a lot of times you'll see this. Hard clears that you then have to try and follow up. So NRG are waiting patiently for that chance. They're opting to pull the defender into them to get the 50-50 instead, and then continue that until you can find a better chance.
A very good example to give to everyone is just baseball, something like that. The harder you throw the baseball at someone, they can hit it that much harder back. If you throw a really hard shot at someone in there and they get a solid save, that is going down to the other end of the field, and you do not want that to happen.
You essentially opt for either controlling it yourself or trying to control the other team, forcing them to make the saves.
Jacob, his shot is not fast, but it will be difficult for a lot to deal with. Jacob also trying to aim for Magnus. NRG just seems to be fully aware of the fact that Method are inviting on the offensive pressure, and he's still over in the background. This is an open net. Garrett puts it down, and he's not met the target. That shot was easier to score.
It's got to be soul-crushing with 8 seconds
They've got
left.
time to have the soul-crushing. There is so little time remaining. 5 seconds now. NRG, it was right there in front of them, and they've got 1 more shot. 1 more opportunity. Flick up there from Fireburner, but unfortunately Garrett, he does not have the boost, and NRG will be put into the lower bracket. Congratulations
to Method.
When the pressure was on, it seemed that Garrett G just couldn't get that last shot. He will be living through the rest of that. He will be living through that shot right there for the rest of the day, if not the rest of this entire weekend, maybe even through next season. That cannot feel good for him. That was his opportunity. Jacob was on the backboard. There may have been some small confusion. He saw him back there. Jacob, I think, wanted to drop it down to give Garrett an even easier shot, but in reality, he still should have made the first one. Could have been miscommunication, could have just been a weak attempt. But one goal between every single game. You can see it. To game number 5.
See it.
This is as close as it could have gotten. Method, while they didn't play the game that we've seen Method bring out, they still played exactly what they needed to against the powerhouse and the whatever NRG is.
I mean, that was something very different to what I expected. We see Method, we see NRG, and you expect incredible mechanical plays happening all the time. And what we actually got was a tactical masterclass from both sides, constantly adapting, constantly changing what they were trying to do. And it was just Method that had more. They had less shots that game, but the one that they got, they nailed.
And it just felt in the beginning as trading back and forth. First game, it went into favor of one. The second game, into the other. But then it balanced out. We saw the shots start to even out. Same on both sides of the field. It was, again, just push a little bit of what we can do, and then let's change it up a little bit. Let's make sure that we play defense because we know what this other team is capable of. And not as many bumps as I'd expected. NRG started to bring it out towards the end.
Oh, they were aiming for that at the last minute.
It used to kind of be their signature, but against Mets Magnus and a lot with that amazing save. I think it was in game 3 or 4. He was able to get there just last second. It is just so hard to break through Method's defense.
Absolutely, there's a lot to take out from this from NRG. There is a lot of positives. There's a couple of negatives that they definitely need to address, but a major thing right there was that Method were on the defensive. We never saw Method on the defensive for a long period of time, and they showed us something that we've never seen before. But I want to show you something that you've never seen before, and that is going to be Metsunaris having his interview on the stage.
Thank you so much, and guys, give it up for Method. Seriously, what a game! And before we go into the interview, because I'm sure everyone's thinking about it, what's up with the hat?
I don't know, it's my trademark, I guess. I just use it when I stream. I don't know.
Okay, it's his trademark. It's his trademark! All right, man. So listen, that was a very tough series. Now, this is your first RLCS LAN here. And while I'm sure this crowd, you know, they had some golf claps and stuff like that, it was very, you know, partisan crowd for NRG. They were really cheering for NRG. How was it playing in this kind of an environment here, you know, knowing that while people were cheering you on, it was still a majority for NRG?
I didn't really hear most of the crowd since the headphones blocked it off, but it didn't really affect us. Felt like I was playing at home.
Okay, felt like he was playing at home. I respect that, I respect that. So, game 3, that was ridiculous. It just went the absolute distance. Like overtime ×2, it felt like, you know, you guys ended up falling on that one. And for a lot of teams, the win will come off of your sails there, and you would feel like, you know, oh man, how do you rally back from that? So what were the comms like when you guys fell in that game?
We felt like we were the better team for that whole overtime and that whole game, so we just felt really confident going forward.
Yeah. Now, the other thing too, and while confidence is key, coming out of the gate though, NRG were unrelenting. They were on you nonstop. And you guys are a great defensive team. In that situation, did you expect NRG to just come at you with everything they had and you guys kind of just like play the defensive game?
Yeah, I feel like they're an amazing LAN team, most experience out of everyone at here. So I was expecting a lot from them, and it was a really tough game.
And it was an awesome game to watch. I'm sure everyone here enjoyed it as well. Now, before I let you go, I got to do this real fast. Okay, that's awesome. All right, man. Mets, thank you so much for your time, my man. Let's go ahead and send it back over to the desk. Give it up one more time for Method.
Oh, man. Thank you, Golden Boy. I kind of want to do that for his hat, too. What an awesome series, just overall. And I think what we can really take out of that series is just how close all these teams are, truly in skill. And nothing is more of a testament than that game 3, where this overtime went forever. And I feel like, you know, that's what happens all the time. We talked about it a little bit earlier. As the series goes along, it's a little bit tighter and tighter. And that was a moment I really felt like these guys are so evenly matched. How can you even begin to try to predict what's going to happen?
It was an incredibly close series. This was a battle of the defenses. And prior to this game, I had talked about Garrett G being the key to victory, and I felt like Garrett G came up short in this series. He had some opportunities to put some goals in the back of the net, even an opportunity to tie it up in that final game, and he just missed out. Fire and Jacob, they played well, but still, this was such a close battle that if Garrett G had been performing, I think they would have had the edge.
Yeah, it seemed like it went back to kind of the X Games NRG, like the energy of old, where Garrett was kind of in that midfield and it had Fire and Jacob connection kind of going really well. So Garrett may have struggled a bit. I thought also Jacob missed a lot of redirects in the beginning. He kind of fixed that with his passing. Fire was more the finisher there. But yeah, I thought that I didn't think Garrett played too poorly of a series, actually. I just thought that he just lacked the opportunity.
Yeah, missed the big moments.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take another look at that one in the form of the Mobile One High Performance Replay. A very close series between NRG and Method. Ultimately, Method barely edging out the American team.
And what a defensive series. 5 games, only 9 goals scored between the two teams, but we saw, like in the very first game, we saw Garrett G, he missed a goal at 5 seconds left. Luckily, Fireburner scores at 0, but it came back to bite him in game number 5. The same exact things happened. But Method on the other side, they know how to soak up that pressure. They've done it before in the Europe League play. They do it again here, and they come up with some stylish goals. There was a lot of misses on both these sides, so it seems like nerves played a factor here.
Yeah, I thought that this was a big win for Method going forward, taking out NRG, the NA dynasty, so to speak, coming into this. They'd struggled at live events, so getting a big win against a big team like that, and also after that own goal from, I believe it was Magnus, Fireburner scored to win in, I think it was overtime?
Yeah, it was 5.
He put it off the corner of the top of the roof, and it dropped straight down and ended up the own goal. A lot was very vocal on stage. I was watching him. He kind of gathered the troops. They were down 2-1 at that point, and whatever he said worked. They didn't lose a game after that, so that was really cool to see.
That's what it's about sometimes, these players communicating with each other, understanding each other's weaknesses, and just being there for each other. But ultimately, what an incredible series. I want to touch on NRG here. They're going to be dropping down lower bracket. What would you like to see from them? They're going to be, resting now, coming back tomorrow to play, and hoping to make a big run. What do you think needs to be in the conversation there for NRG to make sure everything comes together tomorrow?
They just need to keep playing the way they know how to play. Method, they were the #1 team in the European League play, so they should not be ashamed of this loss. It was all the way to Game 5. It was very, very close. They just need to be positive. Think about what they're going to do to win, not get in that negative thinking mentality, because they've been in this situation so many times before. It would be easy for them to get down, but they just have to keep thinking positive.
Yeah, I think NRG needs to just work on that defensive rotation. It seemed like sometimes they were just double committing a little bit and maybe forcing themselves to go towards the ball, a little bit of confusion, which ended up causing them to whiff on some of those. And they lacked kind of that offensive pressure. In the first few games you saw NRG win, Garrett did a really good job at midfield of that old style where Fire and Jacob were scoring. But Garrett did a really good job of keeping the pressure up. They had really good rotation, and it seemed to break down towards the last 2 games. So if they can just fix that, they'll be fine.
But so now we see NRG and Method. They both don't play again today. They play tomorrow. That's a blessing and kind of a curse maybe for NRG. They might start overthinking some things and feeling down about themselves. But who knows? Maybe they wanted to play a game right away again, but they don't have that luxury. So we'll see if they can bounce back tonight. They should. They're veterans. They've been here before. They've been down there before. They normally don't succeed, though. Every time they go to the lower bracket, they've always lost the first game. So they are going to have to try and make a lower bracket run that they haven't done before, so it could be tough.
Well, incredible series, 2 amazing teams going head-to-head, and again, either of those teams could have won that one. So truly a joy to be able to watch these top teams play on the biggest stage out there in the Rocket League scene. We're going to take a short break. We got 2 more matches coming your way. Coming up next, we have Gale Force eSports entering the stage, and they're going up against G2. Can G2 continue their winning ways? We're going to find out coming up next.